great day to be an Eagle. One more time for the greatest team in America.
Georgia Southern drops its Sun Belt Conference opener on the road up in Harrisonburg, Virginia, 35-10 against James Madison in a game that was never really close, Cody.
It looked a lot closer than the scoreboard indicated, Matt.
I was going to say, frankly, it wasn't competitive. It was not a competitive game. You were telling me you had one of your daughter's birthday parties during that, trying to do double duty. And God bless you for it. I wish I had an excuse like that where I could just, look away and pay attention to some more fun things that would be more memorable than what we saw up there in Harrisonburg.
No, it was, I think this is kind of what we feared going into the game, was a performance like this and sort of getting kind of dominated on both sides of the ball and really all three phases of the football game.
Yeah, it was.
I will say this. I think just watching the game and just kind of removing the fandom out of it, I honestly loved the way how James Madison played defense with their blitzes, their schemes, how aggressive they were at times. It really made me wish that we had some sort of defensive style like this for our program. Yeah,
I don't know what our identity is.
I don't know either, but I know that it doesn't work.
Yeah. That's our identity.
But yeah, no, it was what we feared, that James Madison would figure out that they could rush the ball with ease and not really have to take much risk in their passing game, and that's what they did. They tried to pass it a little bit, if I remember the first drive or two, and didn't get any points or didn't really move the ball that well. And then once they realized they could just hand the ball off, it was either the second or third drive where it was like five straight rushing yards.
It was 72-yard drive, all rushing.
That was their first touchdown. And then after that, it was just like, why do anything else? I don't know if you have the stats in front of you, but I believe they had their two running backs that combined for 36 rushes for like 280 yards.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah,
so
Wade Knight, 135 yards, Jordan Fuller, 95 yards. It was the first time they had two 100 yards rushers in a game since April 24th, 2021.
There you go. And again, it's what we've been saying is a huge concern for this team ever since the Fresno State game, is that the rush defense is just something that is a huge weak spot on this team. And then I don't know if you have JMU's defensive stats, but I want to say that I saw where they had, I think, 10 or more tackles for losses in the game, including, and that this part could be wrong, I think up to 7 sacks. Did I read that correctly, or did I have that? But I want to. That may be a little high, but I know that they had at least 3 or 4 sacks just off the top of my head.
Let's see. They had 7 sacks.
Okay,
Yeah.
7. Okay, so yeah, I had read that right. So again, I mean, their defense was constantly in our backfield. We had no push at all from our defense to get into their backfield.
I mean, just a few years ago, we had a whole season where we didn't give up 7 sacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're right. You're
right. And not to get ahead of ourselves here, but yeah, I mean, the lines were completely outmatched. They were on both sides of the ball. Defensive line had absolutely no pressure. Par for the course for the season.
Well, again, that's not just par for the course, but this has been par for the last 2 or 3 seasons that our defensive line has not had any push, has not get any pressure in the backfield. They do not cause havoc and get tackles for loss or sacks. They're consistently one of the lowest in those stats in all of college football. Again, you're not going to win too many football games if you're letting the opponent just have their free will in terms of running the ball, and you're not getting pressure to the quarterback and they can just sit there for 3, 4, 5 seconds and throw the ball wherever they want to. You're just not going to win the games.
Yeah, and then on the other side, I mean, our offensive line got dominated. I mean, that was a strong suit that we thought was going to be the case going into the season, but so far hasn't really turned out that way. And then, I would say got exploited in this. I mean, J.C. French looked uncomfortable the entire game.
Well, yeah.
And it just we couldn't get anything going on.
No, we couldn't, not at all. And then the time or two that we did, we couldn't put it in the end zone, or we would mess around and what was it, the miscue on the punt right there at the end of the first half, and you're like, okay, well maybe we can get it to 21-10, go into halftime, with a little bit of momentum, and we just couldn't do it. We went 4 straight plays and didn't even convert a first down and did we turn it over on downs on that drive? I believe we did.
So. I think
Yeah. So again, we had an opportunity where we had a short field, try to put on points on the board, and we could not do it.
No,
again,
I think the stat was like 3 or 4 trips to the red zone and only came away with
3 points or
with 3 points, something like
no,
that.
no,
What? No, we got the
10 points.
touchdown. Yeah, we got 10 points,
but again,
it
if you're only getting 4 trips in a game to the end zone and you're only getting 10 points out of it, you're not going to win many. You're not going to win any games.
No.
No. This is just again. We're not. I'm done being overly mad about the season at this point. We are what we are. We can't.
Yeah.
We can come on here every episode and beat the same dead horse.
I know.
Or we can try to sit here and and
we're running
maybe
out of things to say.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I put on Twitter X, that like someone I retweeted, what someone said, and they're like, I'm not even mad anymore. And that's how I was like a couple games ago. Like my wife came in, and she's like, I thought you'd be like more upset. I'm like, I'm just kind of numb now. Like I'm just kind of like over. And I honestly feel, obviously not everybody, but I honestly feel like that's the majority of the fan base is like they're sad, not mad. Like, it's not that you don't have things to be mad about. You absolutely do. But I think we've gone through that. It's like the 7 stages of grief or whatever. I think we're like beyond being mad and frustrated. And now it's just, we're depressed. We're just sad. It's just, it's a sad state of the program. It's a sad thing to watch. It's, we're gluttons for punishment because we sit there and do it. But, you and I will continue to do that, Cody. But I don't blame other fans if they check out, if this continues, because it's just more of the same and we're not seeing anything done differently, right? It's not insanity.
Exactly. When I think it's just to the point to where we know that there's probably going to be no changes until the end of the season, if there's any changes at all.
I just don't see how they can. Maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I don't see how that can be the case this year. I really don't, especially on the defensive side of the ball. If things don't improve mightily, and like you said, it's like you said a couple episodes ago, the defense. Guess what? The offense is the offense, and the special teams is the special teams. That's the thing, because like I was in agreement with you on the defense, and like we were going to have to win despite the defense, and we're still going to have to do that with each passing game. And I would say this JMU game was certainly an eye opener to that. I don't have a lot of confidence in the offense either. I just don't. And that's a huge concern when you have literally the worst defense in the country in some categories, or, bottom 5, bottom 10 in pretty much every defensive category.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like we really get the explosive plays out of the offense. No. Camden Brown played a heck of a game. I think he had over
having a great
yards.
Season. Yeah.
I will give him all the credit. He's having a phenomenal season. I don't think Josh Dallas played in this game.
No, he was out, and Camden Brown did not have a touchdown. He was going for a record set by, I believe, Teddy Kraft in 5 consecutive games with a touchdown.
Okay.
So he did not get that.
He still has 7 games.
He had 111 yards, so one of his best games of the season statistically, just no touchdown.
But no, I felt like he had a couple really big grabs there I mean, I feel like he did all he could to try to put it.
He's clutch. I mean, he's the Burgess. He's the Hood. He's that guy that when you need a big play, he's there. 50-50 ball, probably. He's.
But let me ask you this: was the offense inefficiency a lot more dealing because they didn't know where the pressure was coming from James Madison? I mean, they were bringing, 5 or 6. It seems like every play, pretty much.
Which we called. We knew they were going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they showed against Liberty. It's what they showed against Louisville. Like, they didn't do anything new. Like, that's their MO, is to send that extra guy. And I think we had no answer for it. And that comes to coaching.
Yeah.
We got out schemed once again on all 3 phases.
Yeah. And it's also the similar issue with ODU, right? Because they play that 3-3-5, and they'll send 1, 2, 3 guys, and you don't know where they're coming from. And confuse that. So it seems like if you have a defense in which you can hide, or you can mask whoever the extra rusher is, or even who the 4th rusher is, and you can kind of fake and send the guy on the opposite side. It seems like that's going to be a huge issue for our offense and offensive line. They don't have any answers for it. So again, that comes down, honestly, it's coaching. If you
It's
don't have your
coaching.
guys prepared, if you can see something clearly on tape, that even as us dumb fans can, you know what I mean? Like then it's obviously coaching if you didn't have your team prepared for it.
Yeah,
And
we're not saying we have like all the answers. Do this X, Y, Z.
no,
Draw it up. Like
absolutely not.
absolutely not. But like we can at least see that it's a problem and that problem's not getting addressed. And again, that problem is attributed to coaching.
Yeah.
Period. Like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out.
Correct.
And the same with defense. Like JMU, like you said, it took them 2 drives. Why it took them so long, I don't know. Maybe that's an indictment on their coaching. But like once they figured it out, they kept going back to the well and it kept working, and we have no answer for it because again, coaching. Like, they didn't do anything special on offense either, but we had no answer for it.
Yeah, you talk about the definition of insanity. It's at this point, you're 5 games in. If you're Bailey, why are you not just throwing something up against the wall that's different? I mean, why are you not coming up with some sort of different attack scheme when it comes to the rush defense? Or
like you said, just
even,
you can't get that pass rush just like blitz every play. I mean, like
do
do something. You have blitz packages, right? Just be more aggressive in your play. It's not saying throw the playbook out the window and install a whole new playbook.
I don't know, maybe
tear out maybe, but like tear out pages from it and your base defense, the conservative stuff where everybody's out of place and taking bad angles and nobody can tackle. Like I understand that execution, but it's like just get aggressive with it. Like send more people than they can block. Our secondary is our best piece of our entire defense.
Yeah.
And honestly, like they've been tested here and there, but they don't need to be tested that much because our rush defense is terrible. It's literally the second worst in the country.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, yeah, it's beyond frustrating.
Yeah, we get Gamble back, finally after injury, and it's like, yeah, send extra guys, do quarter blitzes, do whatever, and then let your defensive back feel one-on-one matchups or whatever, play man, and yeah.
I think if it was at this point, I think the whole philosophy would just be bring more than they can block and just live with the result. If the play's busted, the play's busted.
100%.
If I can create some havoc and push you back.
It's like a full court press in basketball, right? Yeah. Like you do that and you just bring the pressure every time. Pressure. If you can find that open guy, because there will be an open guy, but they have to make that split-second decision and find the open guy.
Exactly.
And yes, quarterback at USC probably can do it. Barnett at JMU probably can do it. Georgia State's quarterback probably can't. Marshall's quarterback probably can't. No, seriously, it's like do that, and that's going to give you a competitive advantage against some of these teams. The other ones that like can raise the bar, they're gonna they're gonna exploit it, but we're gonna be exploited anyway. Mm-hmm. So I would rather just give up the big play and get the offense back on the field than just be 6, 7, 8 yards per carry to death, for a touchdown. Like that's just debilitating. Yeah. It's just,
I'm kind of to the point to where I think that's where we got to be at. And the other point that I was going to make earlier was you briefly went over it was tackling. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like tackling has been probably the worst it's been it's
been atrocious. It's been atrocious, and I don't think that's just the talent on the field. That's coaching. It's what you practice.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like that's something that you either practice it and you keep those mechanics in line, and you go through the hips or whatever the case may be. And I feel like a lot of this stuff is arm tackling. It's just whiffing. It's bad angles, and it's just like, do we practice these drills or mechanics in a way that is meaningful to the players? Obviously, it doesn't appear to be that way.
I mean, you've got guys that looked really good last year that all of a sudden are looking like a shell of themselves tackling. You've got guys even like a Brendan Harrington that came from App State tackling machine, and he had 13. I'm looking at 13 tackles in this game, 8 solo, but he's missed some. It's just the talent is there. It's just what are you working on week to week?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I feel like something happened in this offseason. I don't know if we just thought that we could coast through it in terms of our preparation. I don't know if, again, something,
Yeah.
there's some
And that's the
disconnect.
part that's lost to me. Like,
Yeah.
again, you can tear out pages from your playbook and be super aggressive. You can tear out all the trick plays and stuff out of the offensive playbook and stick to what's working. You know, that you can do. That is manageable. That's still in front of us. This fundamental stuff, I'm sorry, it's out the window. Like, it is that's where, you know, it is what it is kind of comes into play. Like, the tackling is the tackling, the angles to some degree are the angles, you know, the hands of the players. So like all the stuff, like that's the stuff that you have to shore up in the offseason, period. And like you're not going to fix that, not even with a bye week, which we enter the bye week. We haven't even talked about that, I don't think. Also, welcome to Gotta Talk. Cody, I told you not to let us ramble at 16 minutes in, but I'm bad.
right.
That's Cody. So welcome to Gotta Talk, fan podcast, Third Southern Football. We thank you to our sponsors, Can Cut Tools, title sponsor, longtime sponsor, Premium Drill Bits and Cutting Tools. Owner and operator is Andy Thompson, alumni of Georgia Southern, proud supporter of this podcast. We thank you, Andy. Go check them out, cancut.com. It's KNKUT.com. And then secondary sponsor, announced it last episode, Section 103. Section 103, shout out to them. It is a newer apparel company, got a couple schools. We're their third school, has a line of hats, t-shirts, winter outerwear for men, women, and kids. Really unique designs with Georgia Southern traditions, like the school bus. I saw a poll that they posted, reposted that poll of what the next shirt they're going to put out is, one of which is the Irk jug with the Eagle Creek water. Really cool stuff. So go check them out. Show them some love. Section 103 at section103.com. They've got the Georgia Southern collection highlighted on their homepage there. You can save 10% by using code GATATALK. That's GATATALK. And yeah, go show them some love. But Cody, yeah. So housekeeping notes. This will be our last episode until after the Southern Miss game. So Georgia Southern is on a bye. We are recording this the Sunday night after the JMU game. So September 28th is when we're recording this. So keep that in mind. For all intents and purposes, a Southern Miss, we'll preview them in a bit here. They are also on a bye. So they will not play a game, so we don't have to like worry about that. So the evaluation them is pretty much what it would be. And then yeah, so but obviously if anything like major happens, if there's any like personnel decisions, coaching changes, anything like that, I mean obviously something major we'll probably have to do like an emergency episode, but
Something.
If all things are good, I'm going on vacation this weekend. I'm taking a break. I'm going over to Telluride. I live in Colorado. I haven't made it over to that corner of the state yet, so looking forward to that. See some fall colors, and yeah, honestly, just kind of like shut things off and get some rest and relaxation and just not think about this team for a couple days, just because like it's getting pretty depressing, Cody. But yeah,
no, you're right. Yeah, again, just kind of the way that the season's played out, it's not encouraging from the fan point of view. We do have this bye week. It ends with the Thursday night game against Southern Miss at home. Again, bye weeks have not been particularly great for us here in the last 2-3 years. I think, Matt, you shared a stat earlier on X where we were 1-6.
Yeah,
coming off a bye week.
If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see not only where we are with all of this, but how we compare to the rest of the conference.
Where'd you pull this from?
So this was had it on my phone. I don't know. I just Googled it and I found there's like, it's BetIQ team rankings.com.
Oh, okay.
Team rankings, BetIQ.teamrankings.com.
Betting site. Okay.
It's a betting site.
So there you go. So the good thing is Southern Miss is also 1-4 now. That's with their old coaching staff. Obviously Charles Huff is probably maybe take a look at Marshall's record and see maybe 3-3. So in terms of it's more of a push. But this is. I don't feel great about it.
Got Falcons pigskin over here, surefire sign of bad coaching. No way around it. So don't take it from us. But yeah, I mean it's and I didn't tweet this one out, but I did on the same site look it up in the same search of our home record since 2022 under Clay Helton. We are 15-5, obviously very good record still. 10, maybe top 5 still in the country in home win percentage.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're 15-5, still very good under Clay Helton. So the whole Power Paulson thing. So you got kind of two edges of the sword there. Which one's gonna win? Is it the bye week or is it the home field?
Well,
advantage?
last year the bye week one, whenever we got beat by Troy at home. Again, look, I think Southern Miss, it's Coach Huff. It's Blake Anderson for those who are longtime Sunbelt followers. He was the former coach at Arkansas State for many years. He then went off to Utah State for a year.
Last time they were relevant, really.
Yeah, and then he was dismissed from Utah State. I think this is now his first job since that, since he left Utah State. So he's the offensive coordinator at Southern Miss. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you're going to give me Blake Anderson versus Brian Bailey, I'm going to pick Blake Anderson all day long in 100%. Terms of coaching matchup. I'm not really particularly liking.
Well, the resumes are pretty close, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Southern Miss, they obviously have very good talent in terms of the quarterback. I believe they also brought in Marshall's top 2 receivers as well. They have I think they have probably the best corner in the group of 5, if not probably a top 5 corner in all of college football.
Josh Moten, I believe.
He is phenomenal.
So he's played 68 snaps. If you see it here, Cody, 68 snaps at corner. He was only targeted one time, and he picked it off against Jacksonville State. So they played Jacksonville State. I'm an opponent, obviously. They won that game pretty easily. Do I have it pulled up here?
42-25 is what they beat.
Okay, yeah.
I just was looking at some of those stats. Apparently Jacksonville State turned the ball over 4 times.
They did. Yes, I was going to say Southern Miss. Yes, they where was the stat? So the Southern Miss defense has 10 takeaways through 5 games, which was the same number of takeaways they had all of last season.
Gotcha. So obviously their defense is much better, which again, nobody's surprised that Southern Miss is a better product on the field than what they were the last 2 or 3 seasons. With their Marshall transfers, really their transfers in general, plus the addition for Coach Huff and his coaching staff. Again, this if you're thinking this is going to be an easy win because Southern Miss was terrible the last 5-6 years, you have not been paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah. I think the
Miss.
only saving grace for us is one, it is at home, but again after the bye, so the Troy game. Are they as good of a team as Troy? Probably, if not better. It's a bit earlier in the season, so I'd rather get them now than get them at the end of the season after they have a lot of games to figure stuff out. I think they're going to be a pretty good, improved ball club next year and beyond. But yeah, I would say that's the only silver lining here is Paulson and possibly getting them, early before they get things clicking.
I'm gonna be the negative Nancy then and say this is why it doesn't matter when we play them, that they're a horrible matchup for us. One, they'll probably put that corner on our best receiver, Camden Brown, and try to shut him down, which apparently he's shut down everybody that he's played. And they'll take probably our best.
Have to get Josh Dallas back. I know he's been nursing the injury. Like, hopefully he's back after the bye week. If we can get him back, because I would say the receiving core has been pretty one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Without
I was going to
Josh
say, if he's
Allen
not
there.
back, then Dalen Cobb's got to step it up. I mean,
He does.
he's a senior now. He's got to, honestly, I expected a step forward from him this year. I don't really think we've gotten that out of Cobb this year, to be honest
Not
with
consistently. And I mean, like, against Maine, good stats, could have been even better, had several drops.
Sorry. I'm not going to count the FCS team.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at it just on FBS competition.
And too, I'll say play calling and appling comes into play here. Like, they keep trying to run them, and you know, it every now and then it works. They've ran them up the middle. They've ran them, in and around. They did the same thing with Josh Dallas when he was in there. It's like the same like 15 plays that we're running, it seems, and like. I don't know. Just get him the ball in space. You can see what you see what he does. Obviously the drops are an issue, but we've got to throw the ball down the field. We did so many screens. We did so many, like, we've got to push the ball down the field vertically. And I get it. Maybe against, JMU's aggressive attack, we didn't have time to do that. But hopefully we can find a way to do that against Southern Miss. And hopefully we have a couple more targets out there for French to do that.
Yeah, and then I don't know too much about the Russian attack, but I would assume that Blake Anderson and Coach Huff have eyeballs and brains and can tell that our rush defense is pretty bad and will probably run the ball down our throats, to say the least. They have their quarterback, which is a rush quarterback, so they'll do draws, or they'll have him sort of on bootlegs and give him the option to run pass. I mean, again, this is a scary game to me. I don't have much confidence going into this game after what we showed against James Madison. And
it's super scary, yeah.
And not, to me, Jacksonville State
rushing,
and Maine,
if it makes you feel better, Cody, Braylon Braxton's their second leading rusher. That's their quarterback, the transfer from Marshall. Okay. 51 carries, 169 yards, only 3.3 yards a carry, and only one touchdown. Jeffrey Pittman is their leading running back, only 206 yards so far on the year. 4.8 yards on average, though.
Okay.
43 carries, 4 touchdowns. So, not, where JMU was running back by committee, they had 3 guys, I think, that were like close to like 150 or so, 150 to 200 yards, like coming in the game. So like, yeah, I would say not as formidable, as like a rushing attack, at least to this point in the season.
Don't have to be formidable.
They don't have to, not against us.
You just have to be a college athlete.
Yeah,
and if you have a decent line, you're gonna be able to probably get 100 yards on us.
Yeah, where Braxton's having a good year passing the ball, 65% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns, does have 3 interceptions. He's been sacked 7 times, 1,200 passing yards already this year, so.
Again, I don't like it. I don't like the matchup. I don't like that it's coming off the bye. I think Huff is going to have a chip on his shoulder with what happened last year.
100%.
With how the Marshall game ended. I honestly will feel like Huff's going to come in here and try to make a point.
I think Braxton will, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was in that game too.
He was the one that gave up the fumbles.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's not like the popular stat, fun stat or whatever you want to call it with them is that they return more players from that championship Marshall team than Marshall did this year.
Yep.
So it's not just about Huff, actually. I think it's about a lot of those starters that still are, nursing that hangover from Paulson last year of a game that they should not have lost.
Yeah.
So, and now they get to a rare opportunity, right? Because you usually don't play back-to-back games, at an opponent's venue. So, rare opportunity to get immediate vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is the first time we played Southern Miss since they've came into the conference.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So, I hope that we win. I really do. I'll be there at the game Thursday night. But again, there's a lot of stuff here that just is not lining up. If we were in Conference USA, I'd probably feel decent about us making a bowl game, right? Because we beat Jacksonville State, who a lot of folks are probably saying is third or fourth best Conference USA team. But I don't know, when we got Southern Miss, who I think is still going to probably
I
be
think
the
we could
top in
compete
the
with
West.
Liberty,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I again, Southern Miss, I just think it's going to be a little bit more well coached. I think they have
a little bit.
I don't know in terms of talent if they're way more talented than we are. I don't really think that that's
I don't
the
think
case.
they are.
I just think that they're going to be, when it comes to coaching, when you look at their OC versus our defensive coordinator, when you look at their defensive
do you think
coordinator,
there's many teams in the conference that are just far beyond more talented than us?
no, I think I think there's a lot of teams that have a lot more talented coaching staffs than we do.
Yep, 100%. Yeah,
and I think that's the honestly the wide gap, and I mean, so there you go. I mean, I think JMU is,
and this isn't just bias, people. Like, I mean, it's us looking at the facts we have in front of us. It's the eye test, yes, but it's also just like looking at the stats, and not just from this year. Like with someone like Brandon Bailey, and we talked about it in the I think it was the last episode, if not the episode before that. But like the last 3 years rank as 3 of the worst defenses that Georgia Southern has ever fielded, ever in its history. So like it's that kind of stuff, that combined with resumes or lack thereof. We have a very green, inexperienced staff. We just do. Outside of Helton, there's not much resumes to speak of.
Yeah. And
even at the assistant level, which there was, but we lost a lot of those guys.
I was going to say, we have lost a lot, but we never really replaced them. I mean, in terms of replaced them with the same
not with
caliber,
upgrades, the same caliber.
Correct.
Yeah, we have not. We have not.
We haven't. And so again, I think it's just sort of one of those things that has finally caught up to us this year, unfortunately. And we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. I think at this point, it's going to be some sort of miracle happens and there's a drastic turnaround of the season in terms of yards allowed, points allowed, and for the offense, points per game, and the amount of yards they put up. I just don't see how there's not some sort of change when this season is over with, regardless of if we make a bowl game or not. So no, again, this will be a pretty big matchup, a pretty big to see sort of kind of where we're at and how we match up again. Honestly, with a team last year that was terrible, that had a complete makeover with new coaching staff and new players, and sort of kind of see where we're at. I mean, this is a pretty this is now what, year 4 of Helton, 3 of Bailey, and then this is Applin's second year, the term of OC. Again, with that being said, we should be, on theory, we should be the team that should go in here pretty heavily favored, but we're not going to be. In fact, I would be surprised if we're favored at all in this game.
Yeah, I don't think the line's out yet, because again,
no, it's not.
Recording
it's
this, yeah. So, but yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll probably have a post or something about it. But if we get favored at all, it's not going to be a lot, and it's only going to be because it's at home.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would not be surprised if Southern Miss is favored, especially after how they handled their last game. So, but I've got this pulled up on the screen, Cody. Do you see that? The stats against Weber State. It's Weber State, by the way.
Yes, Weber State.
Are you seeing that? Weber State.
Yes.
So our friends at Sidelines Georgia Southern tweeted this out earlier today, and I just thought it was interesting and eerie. So JMU, their FCS opponent was Weber State, and if you look at their stats, both the stats that JMU put up and the stats that Weber State put up, it's very similar.
That's
to
not
our
good.
game. Very similar. So 10 first downs apiece. I'll scroll right here and you should see it. So 10 first downs apiece, 14 for 14 for us on third down, 3 for 14 on third down for Weber State.
Actually rushed the ball better than we did.
They did rush the ball better than us. They had 64 yards rushing to only 27 yards rushing for us on 26 attempts. They did it on 31 attempts, but and then the biggest difference in the two games is honestly turnover. So we did have a clean sheet. We didn't turn the ball over at all. We also didn't force any turnovers. JMU turned the ball over 2 times against Weber State, but Weber State turned the ball over 3 times with 3 interceptions. So and yeah, final score in that one, by the way, 23-10. So not a math genius.
No. That's the first downs. That's the first down.
Oh, that's first downs. I'm sorry. What was the final on that?
I think it was 45 to something.
Okay, 45. Okay.
Hold on. I'll pull it up here in a minute. But yeah,
I can probably find it. I might
you
be
can maybe do it faster than I do.
It was 45-10. Okay, so they scored 10 more points than us, but Weber State scored the exact same amount. 35-10 versus 45-10. Stats kind of tell that story. It's just interesting, right? I mean, like, yeah, even penalty yards, I think, was like 3 for 21, 2 for 20. What else? Total yards, 148 total yards for Weber State, only 192 for us.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Time of possession, close. Yeah.
No, that was I mean, that hits it right there on the head when we're barely doing better than an FCS team against them.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go. And you know, the people on the other side, they'll point to that as like, excuse me, you know, you come in ranked whatever you're ranked. Obviously, yes, JMU on paper has a really good defense. I think they do, you know, but like statistically very good, you know, top 6, now probably top 5, you know, total defense in all of FBS. But who have they played? You know, they played us, which isn't looking like a juggernaut offensively. They played Weber State. Louisville's a, you know, decent ACC team. And they played Liberty, which can't move the ball at all. I mean, they're struggling, and their quarterback got knocked out. So again, I'm not taking anything away from JMU. Don't you know, take it that way. But are they really a top 5 defense, or are they more like a top 10, top 15, top 20 defense? And it's just a byproduct of the teams that they faced, right? Where you look at us and you could almost say like the counter argument to that. Yes, USC, sure. But like Jacksonville State, Fresno, Maine, JMU, like, you know, not terrible teams, but not like, or not terrible and not like fantastic juggernauts either outside of USC. Right. So it's to me, even if you take away that USC game and as an outlier, we're still really bad defensively.
Oh, you take away the USC and take away the main game, and you just look at Jacksonville State, Fresno State, and JMU, and it's just terrible. I mean, bad. If you just look at those 3 games, and we're just not a very good team.
Do you see what I'm like saying though? It's like, you know, we're making JMU look even better, but I think we're, like you said, exactly who we are.
Yeah,
we are a bad FBS defense.
I will say that, yeah, we are. I was going back to the first year that JMU was in conference, right, with Signetti, and they came into Statesboro undefeated, and that defense was very good, similar to this one, that they stopped the rush. And, you know, the key difference in that game is that we had a quarterback and an offensive coordinator that was like, we could throw the ball downfield on these guys, and we'll just throw it 50, 60 times and see what happens.
Yeah, that was the 500-yard passing game.
Yeah,
right.
That was when we completely abandoned the run. I think we only had like 12 yards rushed in the entire game, and we just forced them into a shootout. That obviously did not happen in this game, but I mean, no, I think JMU's defense is actually legit. I think they make their opponents look worse than probably what they truly are. Yes, is Liberty probably a bad football team? They are. They did hold Louisville only to 21 points, or actually 21 offensive points. One of their touchdowns was a defensive touchdown that they got off of them. So I think with Jamie's defense, they are really good. It does help that outside of Louisville, the three other teams that they've played have been really bad when it comes to their offensive production during that game. But with that being said, I would not have thought that they would have held us to under 200 yards passing. I would not have thought that they
200
would have
total yards.
Yeah, under 200 yards. Again, I just don't think that we really accounted for them to be aggressive as what they were. I actually texted you the night before, that
We
we've got
talked
to
about it on the podcast.
that we've got to be really ready for their aggressiveness on defense.
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast. We said that they were gonna they have a super aggressive attack,
Yeah,
and that we have to have an answer for it. And it's like, no, it's like you didn't even watch tape. Like, again, they didn't do anything different.
no, they
It's
didn't.
just so frustrating. It's like we have, if it doesn't fit in those 15 plays, like that's all we can do. That's all we got.
Yeah, I feel like they really scouted us well, but we did not scout them well at all. They had answers for what we tried, and we just, instead of trying to countering that, we just decided we were just going to do the same thing that we always do, and we
the only game that
demolished.
I honestly can remember in the Helton era that I would say we scouted well for was the ODU game, the first year of Helton, when we played them up there, and
So you know what the interesting thing about that ODU game is that was the first game, and that was the very first game that they switched to their current style of defense, because they had played obviously Western Kentucky the year before, got blown out by them, and then obviously they knew that Brian Ellis was coming in with that offense and that he was going to implement that offense here. And so when they played us, they changed their defense to that 3-3-5 in order to better contain that offense. And we got, obviously we had, Jalen White, and we had OJ Arnold that year, and we had somebody else. Amari I can't remember the name. But anyways, we ran Gerald Green, that was the other running back. And that we ran the ball on them. We took what they had not perfected their rush defense in that system yet, obviously, because they implemented it like the week or two before they played us. So their rush defense was a little off. But if I remember correctly, we beat them 28-20 in that game, and we needed 2 missed field goals. We needed them to go for it inside the 20 on 4th down and not convert. We beat them, but at the same time, we honestly probably shouldn't have beat them in that game. They kind of gave us some opportunities to take advantage of, and we did.
Yeah, I wanted, before we meant to say this at the top of the show, or at least when we did the intro, but before I forget, shout out to the men's soccer team, right?
Yes.
Tony, we might still be a football school, but just a different kind of football. So yeah, top 20 program. They were ranked 19th coming into this game, but Sunday night as we record this, they hosted number 4 Marshall, a team that won a men's soccer national championship not that long ago.
I think they were in the championship game last year.
Yeah, I think they were in the championship game last year, and they won a national championship, I believe, the year before they came to the Sun Belt.
Yeah, so 3 years ago?
3 years ago. So very, very juggernaut men's soccer team. We've just completely rolled to start the season. First big matchup, certainly first big home test, and first time in program history they beat a top 5 opponent.
Yes.
So shout out to the men's soccer team. Shout out to head coach Lee Squires. I need to DM him and see if he coaches American football. Or if he wants to give it a try, we'll pull a reverse Ted Lasso. And see, I mean, hey, can it hurt? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, but seriously though, like UK guy from England came over. I think he came over here from England. I could be wrong on that. But I know that's where he's originally from. And man, I mean, he's done a great job with that team. I mean,
He's from a college in South Carolina. I can't remember which college. Okay. I don't know which one it was, but that's where he came from.
Yeah, but originally from England, and like this men's soccer program, Cody, was not in good shape. it had been very, very bad. Just soccer in general, men's and women's, have been not a good product for many, many years, and he turned them around fairly quickly. Like you started seeing maybe the wins and losses didn't stack up like right off the bat, but you started to see that progression, and it never dipped. And now, I mean, you're seeing. I mean, we've got I watched the second half of that game. And I mean that was more fun than watching certainly like MLS. I used to watch a lot of MLS when I lived in Orlando. And man, the passes, the ball handling, everything, it was so good. And yeah, we're not going to turn it into a soccer podcast. Maybe we will, but yeah.
Soccer
Shout out
and
Lee
volleyball.
Squires, soccer, volleyball. Yeah, I put out a poll of do we become a volleyball podcast, and it did win, Cody. Just so you know, overwhelmingly, it was like 80% of our listeners were like, "We'll support you."
Briefly, the soccer talk. I think this is his third year into the program. You're right. When he took over, the soccer program for the men's side was abysmal, to say the least. In the first year, he got them. I felt like they were competitive. There was certainly the wins and losses were not there, obviously, but they were at least competitive prior to what they were.
Yeah, I remember we played like West Virginia, because like Sunbelt does have soccer now, but there's a lot of teams in the Sunbelt Conference because not all conferences have men's soccer because of Title IX and because of other reasons. So like UCF, West Virginia are both in
So is
the
Kentucky.
Sunbelt, Kentucky, all three good programs. And I remember, I think it was West Virginia, if I'm remember correctly. And like his first year, we played them. Might have played them at home. I think we lost like 1-0, like in kind of like the final minutes or something.
It was something like that, or if it was like 1-0 and they pulled away in like the last 2 minutes, with
something
like
like that. And he was just like, the lads did really good. Like we were in the game. I see it. Like it's there and it can progress.
And then last year again, they played better. Their defense is what took this leap forward, and you could tell that they were holding good teams to pretty low scores, but the offensive side was not there. And it seems like so far this year they've kind of put it all together, offense and defense. So exciting win, amazing win, to be honest with you, and to get our that soccer program hopefully a little bit more excited within the alumni and with the students, and hopefully this just kind of build something for the rest of the year for that. But again, when you with any sport, when you get these big wins, it's you got to keep the momentum going. You can't.
How do you respond? Don't let the moment get too big for you.
And you beat number 4, but when you go up against the next opponent that's unranked and you lay an egg, and you get beat 3-0, you can't. So again, I think obviously the hard part is starting to begin. Now you get this momentum. How do you keep it? How do you not let it fall by the wayside?
Yeah. The belief factor is strong for sure, and like. And I'll say the crowd looked great. I mean, obviously, smaller venue, but a lot of students, it seemed, out there behind the net. Cody, which was awesome, stormed the field, celebrated for all the goals. I mean, that could become a really fun thing, the school can embrace it.
Yeah. I mean,
if this continues,
passionate as they are for football, I couldn't imagine what it would be within a soccer, in a close like soccer environment over there. Was it Bo Pitts? I think it's Bo Pitts Field.
Something like that, yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that'll be.
I think that tennis record was only like 1,500 or something. So, like, if you got a standing room only thing where not only the bleachers are filled, but you've got, the sidelines and both ends, kind of filled just with standing room only, it could get, we become a top 10 team or whatever ranked. It could be like not only a hard place to play, just a fun place to watch a game.
Exactly. Yep. So
cool.
And then volleyball, obviously, Coach Chris got his 100th victory.
Awesome.
Over ODU. They swept ODU this weekend to start off Sunbelt play. I think right now they're 11-2, with their 2 losses only being to UGA Florida State, which is
the Florida State game series was disappointing.
All right, but the UGA one is one I wish they would have back, because honestly they should have won that game.
They should have won that one for sure. Yep. And yeah, I think certainly conference, similar to what you said about the men's soccer, is just like with volleyball, we've been building it for a while.
Oh yeah.
And we were almost there last year. And then, maybe the moment starts getting, a little bit too big right there at the end. Southern Conference tournament, we've struggled, or not Southern Conference, a Sunbelt Conference tournament. We struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this is the year, more mature team, that whole thing.
And to be honest, the Sun Belt usually has 2 or 3 almost like I don't want to call them blue blood programs, but like standard programs that are always good in volleyball, right? You have Coastal Carolina, which is usually always good. I believe it's Texas State. That is
Yes.
another one that is always really, really good.
And
And
Arkansas State.
I don't know if it's them or if it was like Troy or South Alabama.
Or
There's always
South
like
Alabama.
there's a third one. I can't really remember which one it is, but Texas State and Coastal for sure seem to always be playing for the Sun Belt title when it comes to the end of the year. But no, I think again, this is for a couple of sports that don't really get the recognition and a lot of the hoopla and publicity. It's really good to see volleyball kind of sort of take that next step and hopefully provide a great and exciting run throughout the rest of the Sun Belt play. And then again, men's soccer. Wow, if they can continue this, that will be huge for that program.
It will. And again, like the conference is like, it's not just
The conference, the Sun Belt Conference is a good soccer conference.
It's a very good soccer conference. Like, yes, it was the game was against Marshall. That was the first top 5 opponent. But again, they were in the championship game last year. They should have won that game if I remember it correctly.
And I think the Sun Belt had 4 schools in the tournament last year. I think it was Marshall, West Virginia, Kentucky, and somebody else.
And we were picked not, we were maybe not dead last, but we were certainly not picked like up there.
No, we weren't.
And we've been certainly the surprise team. And like you said, can we start wearing that? And instead of being the the hunter, we're the hunted. And
well, that's how it's going to be. Nobody's going to overlook us now. Now that we beat Marshall, now
they won't. Where volleyball, right, is kind of the opposite. Like again, they've been building that for years. That's
they're going to get everybody's best shot.
They're going to get everybody's best shot. And it's hard because in volleyball, even though they do have a couple of those like good teams, I don't think they're a multi-bid conference where men's soccer it is. Yeah. Right. So like basically the women's volleyball team has to win the tournament. They have to win. They have not just the regular season, they have to win the tournament. Men's soccer could possibly afford like good showing in the tournament, not win it, still get in. Obviously we want them to win it. But yeah, they're getting there. Yeah. So it is exciting, Cody. And obviously to combine with golf, men's and women's golf, they'll be starting up here before we know it. And so
women's rifle again. If we can just get one of these revenue sports to just finally take off, it would be great. But no, exciting things for the other sports programs going on. All right,
I don't have too much else. I don't like.
Let's just put a bow on it. There's not much to really be excited about when it comes to the football program. I mean, there's just not. There's not.
I think most people are looking forward to the bye week. Like I said, I think this game will really tell us a lot because again,
will it? If we win, but we give up 200 yards and we hold them to 10 yards in the fourth quarter, and we really, it's.
Yeah, again, so here's the thing, Cody.
Frustrating aspect of it as a fan is that
it is. So this is why we're so mad because again, this isn't just a 1-year thing. This is a trend, right? And like we talked about, we thought we would finally get over the hump, and yes, that was the first conference game. Yes, there are
7
more conference games. The Sun Belt Conference, like we did the 2.0 preview last week. It is not very good, right? There are not many good football teams in the Sun Belt Conference, it seems, through the first 5 weeks of the season. JMU's a pretty good team, obviously just lost to them. ODU looks to be a pretty good, if not really good team, have to play them. And then Texas State, we don't have to play them, but they look to be probably the best team out of the West. Big drop off after all of that, I would say. Marshall looks bad. Georgia State looks bad. App State looks bad. Coastal's up and down, but they've had some really bad showings. That's
ULM probably looks to be the fourth best team.
ULM technically is in first place right now. I'm in the West, tied with Southern Miss. They've each won a conference game, only played one conference game.
Yeah.
Southern Miss is 3-2 overall. ULM is 3-1. They won a shootout against Marshall, but they don't look to be a very good football team.
Here's the other thing too about Southern Miss is that they opened the season up with Mississippi State, who everybody thought probably wasn't that great of a football team. Well, Mississippi State just lost their first game to Tennessee this past weekend in overtime, and had opportunities to beat Tennessee.
Yeah, they beat Iowa State at home.
Yeah. So again, Mississippi State obviously was no slouch, and they competed with them. Honestly, outside of the third quarter, they hung with them the other 3 quarters of the football game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Southern Miss is our second hardest game left of the season, probably.
Outside of ODU.
Yeah, I think so. I would say ODU's 1, Southern Miss is 2. If you threw JMU in there, they'd probably be like going into that game probably 2 behind ODU, and then Southern Miss 3. So we get all the hardest games out of the way right off the bat. That said, we talked about it in the preseason episodes. It's not the in. I know what you're going to say here, Cody. So I asked if we lost to JMU, is that the end of the season right out of the gate?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, you said no, right?
Correct.
Because we're playing them up there. It's first game of the season, first game of conference play. Now, I think knowing what we've known, the showing that we've seen in out of conference play and all that, it's not looking good, right? So like they have the almighty tiebreaker. Even if like we go on a run, they'd still have to lose a game. They still, we do. 2. Like, well, I'm saying we would have to win out. If we won out, they would have to, lose 2. Yeah. So, is that going to happen? Probably not.
No.
And so I don't know. Like I didn't really agree with it then. I felt like that was such a huge game, and I think that's why I'm also disappointed because like I said at the top, it wasn't competitive. It wasn't a competitive game at all. We did not. We looked like a Weber State. We did. We looked like a team that was completely outmatched, that wasn't really deserving of being on the same field with them, if I'm being quite honest.
No.
And that's where I'm concerned, because if we went up there and won a shoot or lost a shootout, or maybe it was like an ugly game because of the rain and some turnovers and stuff, but we lose by 3 or something like that, I think this is a much different conversation. And I think like we're a little bit more optimistic of like, okay, yeah, we saw some good things on this side of the ball and this side of the ball, but again, it was just a complete mismatch.
It's not that we lost why we're upset. It's how we're losing.
It's how we're losing.
You go back to Fresno State. Are we mad that we lost to Fresno State? Well, yeah, obviously we're going to be mad any time that we lose. But what has got us super concerned was that Fresno State, if they didn't turn the ball over, scored on every offensive drive. Fresno State turned into a one-dimensional team, and they just ran the ball up and down our throats in the second half, and we couldn't stop them. We never made any adjustments. When we saw that there was 6, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, we didn't decide to put
it is
7,
what it
8
is.
guys in the box. And
that's not going to change.
Yeah. We didn't try to do anything different. We didn't try, and so that's why we were very concerned. Obviously, the USC game was the USC game. We were outmatched. But again, USC is not the most talented Power 4 program that we've ever played, and yet we got smoked by them probably way worse than the 2018 Clemson team who won a national championship, the 2019 LSU team who won a national championship.
Yardage-wise, for sure, yeah.
USC this year is not going to win a national championship. I can just go ahead and tell you that. They just lost to Illinois. I don't even know if they make the playoff, to be honest with you. Probably don't even make the playoff. We come home, and we beat Maine, and yes, we beat Jacksonville State, but we nearly blew a 14, 17-point lead to Jacksonville State. We needed to come back from behind in the fourth quarter to do so, to beat them. Again, JMU, the same thing. They're just running it down our throats. We can't stop them. We saw what their defense is going to do. Yes, we know that it's easier said than done to say that we do these things, but again, it doesn't look like that we even tried, at least in terms of scheme and preparation.
And I think at this point we have very little confidence as fans that that's going to change.
Correct.
Like if those adjustments haven't even been attempted to be made by now, they're not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So like you might beat Georgia State because they're a worse defense than you in a couple categories.
But we may not.
But we may not. Marshall, they're also down there, but we may not. App State is pretty bad. They got blown out by what's, a down Boise State team, but we may not, and we have to play them up there. ODU, very good team. We face them at home, but, again, super good. And so, yeah, we're frustrated because, losing to JMU at the beginning of the year, to your point, doesn't mean that the conference is just thrown out the window and all the goals of winning, a conference title or winning the East is out. But even though we're just 0-1 in the conference, just we would have been regardless of what the out of conference was, could have beat USC, it's, to me, the frustration, the concern is that realistically, if you're just we're not going to turn a corner enough to win the East.
No.
We're certainly not going to turn the corner enough to win a Sun Belt championship. And I don't know if we're going to turn the corner enough to make a bowl game. And if we do, it's 6-6 and we're in Camellia again, and no one's going to be happy with it. Myself and yourself included.
If we're going to have to make a bowl, it's going to have to be requiring us to go 5-1 at home, which means that we only lose to either ODU or Southern Miss. And then we try to win some game on the road, whether that's Arkansas State, App State.
I think one of those two we could.
Maybe. Or Marshall. But it's all hard places to go play at. It's not easy. It's not like we're going to Georgia State or Coastal or somewhere like that where it's not as difficult to play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it's front loaded with the hardest teams, but it's just the goals as they originally were at the beginning of the year, I think, are a pipe dream at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we're right back at, and that's what everyone's complaining about. Mediocre. We're just mediocre. We're going to be at the end of the season, even if we from here on out have a quote unquote good year, a good season, a good close to the season, we're going to be 6-6 or 7-5.
Yeah, no, and that's
not
what
8-4. I don't even think. I mean, the best we could possibly be at this point is 9-3. That would be winning out. Realistically, we're losing one more game, so that's 8-4. So that's what we were last year, and then I think 7-5. Again, would be if you just started here and went, oh look, that would mean what?
I'll tell you right now, the way that we've started, I would take 7-5 in a heartbeat right now.
Yeah, but that's a problem though.
That is a problem. That is a problem.
That's the point is the people that, yes, the way we started and you look at that and you're like, oh, well, we improved. We got a lot better to get to 7-5, but then we're still 7-5. We're still a long shot, or we're still nowhere close to competing for a conference championship. Yeah. Oh, with changes. Yeah, but that's the fear is that you get to 75 and there is no change.
Yeah, there's no change. Yeah, because we showed improvement. And
we showed improvement.
We figured it out.
We're almost there, always next year. So I think that's where we're at. It's not just a win-loss record. It's how we're looking in these losses and the wins, frankly.
Yeah.
And it's just, this ain't it. It's just not it.
It's not it. And it shouldn't be acceptable from the fan base, especially when there's other programs that are doing better that are of the same either caliber or resource base, or
that's the crap
whatever.
That pisses me off, man. Everyone's like, well, this is money and NIL and the budgets, and it's dude, Bob Chesney. Yeah, that's how they're talking. Bob Chesney makes $250,000 less than Clay Helton. Get out of here. I'm just done, dude. It's just so frustrating because it's you have a program that was FCS just a couple of years ago, and they come in and just running things, and lose their coach, who takes a team to the college football playoff, and everyone's thinking, us included, here they go. They're going to have that down year. App State might be having that right now. They might, but we've been hoping for that for a while. But JMU, but for a while, they kept plugging and playing.
But here's the difference is that their athletic departments and the leaders and their boosters and their AD departments aren't settling for subpar coaching. They're going out and trying to get really good coaches.
Yes.
For some reason, we have not. We've settled with Tyson Summers, and God bless Chad Lunsford. He did all he could, but eventually it caught up with him. And pretty much him not recruiting a quarterback is where it really caught up with him. And now with Clay Helton, what's caught up with him is what we talked about earlier, is that it seems like the standard of assistant coaching around him has dropped tremendously this season. And that is a huge issue because we are getting out-coached in pretty much every game.
And out like fundamentaled and so, you know, it's just like the team is not the SNC, like the team is not conditioned as well. Like they look gassed, they look, you know, and you'll see that and you can interpret it in many different ways.
Well, is that because we're just getting absolutely dominated and they're having to run, 20, 30 more plays than what we're running?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
That could be part of it. Because the strength and conditioning was the same guy from last year. I feel like last year's team was fine when it comes to that. But I get where you're going with it, is that, we do look gassed. We do look like we're a step slower at times. Again, it's getting to where some decisions are going to have to be made really quick.
And the fear, Cody, myself included, is that will those decisions be made? Clay Helton has got a 5-year extension at the beginning of this year. That's the talk of the town. That's what everybody's like complaining about. Realistically, we are not moving on from him because we cannot afford it. Period. Point blank, period. It's at least 1 more year, if not 2 more, to get the buyout into a manageable state. So we basically have to make do with him leading the program. The big question mark, which he has not done, we've had a lot of coaches come and go, including coordinators, on their own accord. And I could be wrong here, so I should have fact checked, but if my memory serves, I don't believe he's fired anybody. I don't believe in his tenure he has let go of anybody.
Now, off the top of my head, I don't think so.
Everybody's left on their own free will. He might have took over play calling duties or did a split when Ellis was here, or maybe somebody got demoted, or I don't
even know if that was the case.
I don't even know if that's the case, but 2 position groups and you go to 1, that sort of thing, maybe, but no one was just straight up fired. And that's the big knock on him, is can he do that? Can he swallow his pride and fire a buddy or a friend or whatever for the betterment of the program? And, that's, again, yet to be seen. But if we cannot have the worst or second worst defense in the country when it's all said and done at the end of the year, and, not make a change based on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, it's unacceptable. I mean, we're allowing 262 rushing yards a game, which is second worst in the country, only behind Eastern Michigan. 37.4 points per game, which is 7th, I believe, and then 6th or 7th, and then 481 yards allowed per game, which is total defense, which we're 6th. Well, 6 worse. It's just not sustainable.
No, it's not. It's not.
You gotta make changes. And I think if we did that and brought in the right people with better resumes, and by better resumes, I mean coordinator experience, more than a year, have you actually called and schemed against teams, at any level, frankly, I think we could be in a better place, and with Clay Helton at the helm, be where we think we should be with the talent that we have in the locker room with more competent coaching, period. I think we can, but it's going to be up to Helton, maybe, with some pressure from the AD, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, it's going to be up to Helton of hey, what do I want to do? Do I just want to ride this out, or am I going to have to make some tough decisions and make some personnel decisions, again, for the betterment of this program?
Yeah, no. So that'll be the big question. Again, is unfortunately, I think as each game passes, that heat's just going to turn up more and more.
Yeah. And at what point, does it become a scapegoat type thing,
Yeah.
right? Versus, but
All right. Well, I think we've we
yeah.
could put a bow on that one.
The only other thing I was going to say was accountability. That's been kind of like the hot topic recently. I mean,
Yeah.
from the interviews after, but if you've listened to us for a while, you know the story there. It's never going to happen. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. This one in particular against JMU was particularly frustrating because of just some of the things that were said.
Well, there won't be any media availability come tomorrow because it's the bye week.
Right.
It'll conveniently be for them to have to wait a week.
And this wasn't even Big Frank. This was one of the TV stations, the Savannah TV stations. And basically he said it was one-on-one matchups. We lost one-on-one matchups. That was the excuse. Not it was coaching, not it was nothing we did. Nothing possibly that we could have done or not done, scheme, one-on-one.
Well, who coaches them in one-on-one matchups? Don't they have the tablets to sit there and look at during the game to see how they're losing the one-on-one matchups?
You think so? Yeah, it's not I know. It's not like soccer, the other football, where you like prepare them and they're basically on the field coaching themselves.
Yeah.
Like you have substitutions and you have stuff, but like it's a lot less coaching from the sidelines. Yeah, no, I know. It's like you can't point that stuff out and correct it. Hey, he's beating you on first step. He's doing this. He's pressing you at the line, blah, 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 and then you're getting beat. Like, you can't point that stuff out?
Guess not.
All right.
I don't know. We don't know. But we'll see. Again, we'll see how this plays out. We got a bye week. We got a whole 10 days to sit here and stew on this till Southern Miss comes to town.
Yep.
Which, by the way, is on ESPN or ESPN2, which is a national televised game.
It's ESPN2.
Which I think we have now been blown out in 5 of the last nationally televised games. So there you go. Bi-week plus national televised games is not a good formula.
The Thursday night games, especially, I think, because ODU was Thursday. That was terrible. And then
the ODU game was the Thursday night game last year, but we had Ole Miss, who was the other one that was a nationally televised game on the SEC network. Yes. You had the bowl game, which was nationally televised, which we scored a late touchdown, but I mean that was a terrible game all the way around. You had the USC game this year that was nationally televised that we got blown out. Fresno State was nationally televised, we got blown out. So there you go. I think 5, at least going back to last year and this year, we got 5 nationally televised games. We're blowing out, and I didn't want to go back to the year before because I didn't want to look it up to see if it was a longer streak than that. No, we'll see if we can end that streak. But
get our second win after a bye, in Helton era.
Yeah, there you go.
The cards are stacked against us in this, folks. So like it just is, and I would just say, I don't know, take it with stride. We'll be watching. We're gonna take a much needed break away, and obviously be around for anything breaking. But we're gonna probably treat it like we did, or at least I'm gonna probably treat it like I did the JMU game of just like,
yep,
going through the motions. Like
I know.
I mean, it's all you can do, and maybe they'll surprise us.
Maybe.
I hope they do. For the record, I hope they do. And I mean, obviously, like, it should go without saying. We don't like to have these episodes. We don't like to be depressed. We don't like to, we want the team to come out and dominate.
Yeah, we don't want to be talking about this.
The evidence. Yeah. We don't want to be talking about people losing their jobs and stuff.
No.
Right? Like, I get it, but something's got to give. Like, the evidence tells, like, it's mounting
on
evidence.
Top of this, we've done this long enough now to where we kind of see the signs of that there's something.
You see the trends, the beginning and the end, the bottom dropping out, whatever,
we
saying you want to attach to it. Exactly. Yeah. It's not just a one-off thing of like, we're coming off of 3 straight conference championships and like we're having a down year because we had a bunch of injuries, right? Like, no, this is a trend. And the trend line, it's not going up, folks. It's just not.
Nope.
So, and that's not what you want to see in year 4. Maybe, hopefully we're wrong. Hopefully they, again, that's not going to solve everything, because then you have to be consistent, because then you do that and you lose somebody, you lose Georgia State, but take it one game at a time. Hopefully, they'll surprise us and they'll win, a much needed game, get to 1-1 in the conference, even it up at 3-3 overall, and then
go from there. We'll go from there.
We'll go from there.
Take on the next opponent.
All right, Cody.
All right, man.
Get some much needed R&R. I'll do the same. We'll pick it up after the Southern Miss game. Thank you to our sponsors, King Cut Tools and Section 103. And until next time, and as always, Hail Southern.
Hail Southern.
Man, what a